Listen, I'm not sure if you heard me talk about it before, but health is wealth. Right now, everything that's going on with this pandemic and all that, I know there's a lot of fear. Even without the pandemic, you know, going to an emergency room is really not something that people look forward to. Well, now in the age that we live in, you can actually see a doctor without leaving the comfort of your own home. Telemedicine, ladies and gentlemen, is the wave. What I don't like is going to the goddamn emergency room and having to sit there for 3 hours, 4 hours, 5 hours to try to see a doctor for something that if I hit them up on the chat, maybe I can just show them my condition. Hey, doc, some is swollen. I got a rash. Well, show it to me. Hey, I can give you a prescription right now over the phone, over the video chat. Health Alliance Network offers you telemedicine for $45 a month. You can cover up to 10 people in your home. Now, it doesn't matter. This can be, a lot of health. First of all, this is not health insurance, but for a lot of health insurance programs, like, say you got your girl, y'all have to be married and all that type. Nah. Not with Health Alliance Network. Whoever lives in your crib, y'all is covered. You know what I mean? Whether you're married, whatever legal status, it don't matter. It's basically something that's definitely helpful to underserved communities, and that's really what it was created for, and that's why I really rock with it. So check out that link right there, LordJamar.healthalliancenetwork.com, and when you go to the checkout, if you put Lord Jamar as the discount code, you get $10 off. Go to the checkout. Lord Jamar is your discount code, and you'll get $10 off, $35 a month, 10 people in your household. Nothing's better than preventative medicine, but if you do have to go see a doctor, then Health Alliance Network is the way to go. They got COVID testing. You can take blood tests. You get discounts on prescription drugs, if that's what you're into. So, yeah, just go check it out. We got our brother about to come in the house. We're going to sit down and have a talk with him. He out here in Staten Island with me, although we not in the same crib right now, but he rests in Staten Island and I rest in Staten Island. He been to my rest before, to the studio and all that. So listen, with no further ado, man, I'm going to bring my brother in right now. Everybody welcome my brother Consequence to the Godcast. What's up, my brother?
Peace. Beloved, how you feeling? You good?
I'm great, God. How are you?
Everything is everything, man. Everything is everything, man. Just getting the day started,
That's what's up, man. It's good to see you, man. Could you do me a favor and turn your phone to the landscape mode? There you go.
Hold on a second. Let me. It's high enough. Hold on. Actually, hold on 1 second. Let me get something right.
All good. Take your time, brother.
All right. Boom. There we go.
There you go, man. So how are you, my brother, on this glorious day?
Good. I'm good. Everything is everything. Like I said, just moving around right now. As you can see, this is the hotel ambiance.
Oh, okay. You up in the telly right now? Where you at?
Yeah. Taking care of some BI real quick, but I wanted to make sure I got with you.
You in New York? Where you at?
No. I had to make a
In
funny
an
move.
undisclosed location?
Yeah. I had to make a funny move real quick.
That's all. That's all good. It's all good. So listen, man. Let's get right to it. First of all, I gotta say right now, you looking pretty good right now to me, brother.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, you're looking well. I know we saw some pictures of you where you looked like you had lost some weight, and you said people might have been coming at you, and then you had subsequently revealed to the world that you were diagnosed with diabetes and lupus.
Right.
Is that correct, brother?
Right.
Let's talk about that. How
Yeah.
did that
So
all come about? What were your symptoms that were going through that led you to go to the hospital, and how did this all, and how did you find all this out so late in life?
Well, the first mistake I made was I didn't go get my 40-year-old checkup when I should have got it. But there were circumstances around that, and ironically, um, I was dealing with Fife's death in 2016. That's when I turned 40.
Mm-hmm.
Um, we were putting together the new the last Tribe album, and kind of dealing with the mourning aspect of that. And but I don't make no excuses for it. I should have did it. It was way simpler than what I made it out to be. And I think a lot of times, I know, especially with myself, I had a, just like, I don't even want to say a phobia of doctors or whatever the case is, but just like kind of a little standoffish about doing all
Now, I
that.
think a lot of us, I think especially a lot of black men, we as black men, I think a lot of us do have phobias of doctors. I was just before you get on here, I was talking about something I deal with called the Health Alliance Network, where you can actually see a doctor without going to the doctor. You can do it online. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
And
yeah,
it's something affordable. Actually, you should look into it. It covers 10 people in your family for just $35 a month.
that's
It's not
dope.
insurance, but it's an alternative to your health care.
Yeah,
Um, and I think that could make it a lot more comfortable for people, especially males that have a problem with going to the doctor. If you don't have to actually go in there and in the privacy of your own home, you can go wherever, in the bathroom, in the closet. All right, doc, this is what it is. Like, you know what I mean?
right.
I think that can open up options for people.
Yeah, I think the psychological um, aspect of going to the doctor for me, you don't obviously whatever it's gonna be is what it's gonna be anyway. But I'm a leader in my family, and you know, having to juggle bad news is not necessarily something that you look forward to. And sometimes the news isn't as bad as you think. But like I said, when you don't really, when I wasn't tapped into that at that time,
Mm.
so I kept moving. I kept moving. Eventually we went on tour, and it's a body. You don't keep a car for 40 years and
Right.
expect the engine to be in tip-top condition.
Without maintaining it
What
all the time.
Right, without constant maintenance. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
like if you had a car that was from, let's say, the 60s or the 70s or whatever, and you wouldn't expect it not to rust or any of those other things, and that's the bare minimum, even in addition to it just working without consistent upkeep. So, the body is is more fragile than that in many aspects. A heart is a heart, lungs are lungs, they're organs, they're tissue, they're flesh. You know what I'm saying? So, if anything, at that stage in the game, compromises those things, then your health is compromised. And so fast forward, like I said, just wear and tear. Um, got to about 2017. I went to Complex Con, and it was a lot of traffic in there. And when I came back, so I spent the weekend out there in Long Beach. We had a booth. I was running the Tribes, a Tribe Called Quest's merchandise endeavor that they had with Sony. So we set up a booth out there, and was out there for 2 days, and it was just a lot of people out there. And I remember coming home, and uh, I guess I took my son to Roscoe's and had chicken and waffles, and just did my 1-2 bop that I would do in LA. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I get back, and I don't feel good. And I'm like thinking, maybe it's jet lag, and maybe it's a little bit of indigestion from eating Roscoe's. But you know, a couple of days led to a week, a couple of days led to a week led to week 2 3 weeks going in, and I don't feel better. And I still hadn't gone to the doctor. I talk to my
Now,
son.
what are you feeling though? What are you feeling when you say you don't
So when
feel
I
better?
say I don't feel good,
What's
I feel
wrong?
fatigue.
Okay.
So I feel fatigue, and I'm thinking it's a cold, not recognizing it as fatigue, because fatigue is different than just you know what I'm saying. Fatigue is a warning sign. Just like with diabetes, fatigue is a warning sign. Urinating is a warning sign. So it went from fatigue, then I started having to pee more. You know what I'm saying? And I'm like, yo, this shit, you know, like literally, like I'm like, I can't hold. It gets to a point where I can't, like, as it progresses, I can't hold it. I gotta jump out the car, hit a tree. I gotta, you know what I'm saying? I can't make it to the fucking at my door trying to turn the key. You know what I'm saying? To unlock the door just to run to the bathroom and shit.
Right.
It's like, yo, this shit ain't right. You know what I'm saying? So,
gotta piss like a racehorse.
Right. So after that, then I you know, like I said, I'm still thinking I'm like sick with a cold.
Right.
So then I started losing weight, and I'm like, yo, now I gotta go to the doctor. I'm speaking to my son mother. She like, yo, I think you got diabetes. I'm like, diabetes? Whoa. I'm not.
And she just kind of called it like that, like, yo, I think you
she straight called it out, no doubt. She straight called it out. You know what I'm saying? Right. And she, you know, men and women are different. She Googles things and reads up on that kind of stuff. That's her bop. You know what I'm saying? And I kind of always ignored her doing that shit. You know what I'm saying? Because it's just like, you know, I think like a provider. Like, I gotta go get this bread. Make a move, do this, that. You know what I'm saying? So, but I heard her. I heard her loud and clear. Cause she was like, yo, you peeing, it's this, or boom, boom, bop. You know what I'm saying? And when the weight loss came, I was like, yeah, I gotta go to the doctor. So I went to the doctor, and they were like, yeah, yo, you got type 2 diabetes. And I was like, cause like I, once again, preconceived notions. I'm like, I work out every day. I'm not a heavy dude. But I have been eating like a hood dude for years. You know what I'm saying?
And that was gonna lead me to my next question. What does your, you know, keep it real, what has your diet been like, you know, most of your life?
So you know,
do you eat swine? Keep it real.
No, I'm Muslim.
Okay.
I haven't eaten pork.
What about
since the
red
90s.
meat? What about red meat?
I was eating red meat. I was a steak eater, definitely. I was a steak eater, heavy. And also, to keep it a bean, you know, once I had my son, once he started going to school, he liked to go to Smash Burger. So I was every now and then, not more now than then, I was messing with that shit too. You know what I'm saying? French fry head. You know what I'm saying?
Even tell you
a lot of
where
things.
a smash. I don't even know what a smash burger.
That shit good though. I ain't gonna hold you.
Like, I don't even know where to begin to even get some shit like that.
Good. It's good, but it's
not good.
I can feel it though. You know what I'm saying? Like, I can feel it when I was eating it.
It tastes good. It might taste good.
It tastes good. It's, you know. So look. I'm first to admit I'm addicted to taste. You know what I'm saying? I've been conditioned through my grandparents and all that. They more than likely were addicted to taste.
We're all addicted to food in some kind of way, brother. You're not the only one. I said we all addicted to food in some kind of way. You're not the only one. Don't feel bad.
Taste is different though. Taste is different.
Speak on it.
Taste is not about. Taste is about, in my opinion, just coming from me, I feel like there's a comfort in it. You know, it becomes like an outlet. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, I don't smoke, I don't drink.
Right.
But let me have an argument. I might be like, yo, let me just eat some, you know, just eat chill, just get some chips.
So you eat your feelings sometimes. You almost sound like a fat person. So how did you not become obese?
You said what?
So how did you not become obese? Well, you got diabetes, but you didn't become obese. Maybe you got a fast metabolism or something like
genetics.
that.
I'm just not, my body frame isn't
right.
I mean, I might catch a gut, but I'm just don't have the genetics of an obese person. but
Gotcha.
I had the eating habits of somebody who may need to balance their diet. You know what
And
I'm
an
saying?
emotional eating, the way
And it's
from what you're
emotional eating,
saying.
like I said.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like, but it's see, the thing is like I'm not even a heavy dessert, nothing. But I'll eat rice, which stores ends up being storing sugar. I'll
Now, do you like put sugar on your rice, some crazy shit like
nah,
that?
nah, nah. You don't have to do
Okay.
none of that. You don't have to do all of that. Like I said, once you
Now, cause I
40,
know my man, he had diabetes, but he used to eat like mashed potatoes and put sugar on his mashed potatoes.
that's a little
I'm
much.
like, where they
That's
do
a little
that
much.
at? Like, where? What kind of hood shit is that? Where you putting sugar on your mashed potatoes? But
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
my
That
man that I know, this dude used to put sugar on his mashed potatoes.
yeah. He's either I mean
And yes, he
no
got
offense to him,
diabetes.
but
He ended up having diabetes,
yeah.
bad.
I
Like, and
mean
he's fortunate. He's fortunate to be alive right now.
right, right. Because that becomes a bad habit over time that
Yeah.
will endanger you. Like unfortunately, and I don't mean this in any racist manner, but the two killers of black people are white. They're salt and sugar. um,
Right.
I hope that don't
Oh,
go
oh,
over nobody's
well,
head.
listen. If you keep it really real, a lot of bad shit for you in nature is white. White sugar, white flour, white
Right,
rice.
flour's another
You
motherfucker.
know what I mean?
Yeah, flour's
Um,
another motherfucker because the thing is
regular
like,
white salt, iodized salt. You know,
yeah,
anything that's been white is usually drained of its nutrients and and any sort of benefit that you can get out of it.
right.
White cow's milk.
It's a lot of things going on out here. So
Because I think breast milk is not really white. You know what I mean? Like
nah,
that
it's like
cow's
more
milk.
like what this background looks like on the
Yeah,
camera.
something like that.
More like it's almost carnation milk and breast milk kind of have
Right, right,
similar tone.
right.
Um, so yeah,
Thank
so
you, Lily.
with so once I was diagnosed with type 2 diabetes, like I said, I stopped eating red meat. I cut the steak out, cut the smash burger out, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I had got to a space where I was taking Jamulette and Farzinga, and I had got to a space where I got the levels down, and they began lowering the dosage, and eventually I had been able to like just as long as I watched my diet, I didn't really even have to take it. I got my weight back from then. You know, anybody who remembers what some of the for that may be tuning in that may remember when we did the Tribe BBC Billionaires Boy Club collab. I had took some pictures and yeah, I did an interview with Ebro and he was like, "Yo, you vegan?" And and I ain't really like, "Yo, now I got diabetes." I was just like, "Yeah, just switched up my diet, stop eating red meat, and just try to keep it contained for myself." Um,
Right.
but what wound up happening and how we get here is so then once you have diabetes is an autoimmunity, and when you have an autoimmune disease, it's basically like equivalent to like a riot starting, right?
Shut up.
So let's say type 2 diabetes is the first guy who throws a brick through a storefront window, then the looting and chaos
Right. Starts
ensue
happening.
after that. You know what I mean? So um I was flying around. Ironic. It's ironic also that I'm telling this story because Kanye just won best gospel album, and so I was overseeing I oversaw the mixes for his a gospel album that just wanted to be Billboard Awards, and we were flying around doing these listening sessions in a couple different cities, and he was also doing the Sunday service initiative. So we went to Detroit, Jamaica, DC, Atlanta. It was like a run. And by the time I got back to New York, I was shooting a video with Conway, and my son did a cameo on it. And he, we were playing around. He jumped on my back.
Your son's mad cute.
Thank you, sir. Um, he jumped on my back, and it was fine. When I got to the crib, I was like, "Damn, I got a little crick in my neck." Like, but little did I know that crick was inflammation. So I don't know if it was a combo with just everything, but it was inflammation. So I went back to the doctor, and the doctor prescribed me meloxicam and a muscle relaxer. And the thing about a muscle relaxer is, the dangerous thing about it is that when you take a muscle relaxer, it doesn't know to
what muscle to relax.
Right, it relaxes
all muscles.
Right,
and your heart is a muscle.
Right, right.
Mm-hmm.
So now, after a couple weeks of this, thinking it's gonna relieve it, it's getting worse. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, yo, cool, well, you got a lot of inflammation and it's coming down. So I'm thinking it's a taper effect, but it's really not. It's not. And once again, I should have just went and got an X-ray, because then they would have just saw like I needed to take a steroid, and maybe I would have avoided the lupus diagnosis, or maybe prolonged it. I don't know. But and the end all be all is, this goes on from, like I said, this is like literally this time last year to the quarantine. I had took another flight, went to Paris with Ye for his fashion show. We fly from LA to Paris, and then Paris back to LA. I get back to LA, I'm jammed up. I'm like, yo, all over hurting. So, and I've been on these joints for a while, so now it's like, yo, am I strung out? You know what I'm saying? Because it ain't really working. But psychologically, I'm like, yo, I guess I just need to take it, because it gives me like an ounce of relief, but nothing. It's not fixing the problem. Right. It's just a Band-Aid, which is how most people end up getting strung out anyway, because they not really addressing the issue to remove it. They just being it's just pacifying the situation. You know what I mean? So I go to urgent care. I'm like, yo, I don't know what it is. COVID had just started, literally. Like, this is March, first week of March. COVID just started. So we was in Paris, like I said. I'm like, damn, I hope I ain't got COVID. So then the lady, like, because they just were figuring out, they was like, nah, you don't got it because you don't got no fever, blah, 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 blah. So I'm like, all right, I'm out. I'm going to the crib. So I just automatically quarantined when I got to New York. Like, yo, let me just, because then the information started rolling out. So I'm quarantined, boom, boom, boom. And I'm like, yo, maybe I could just get some rest now, and just, because nobody's going outside. This is when it first, boom. So
I was going outside, but anyway, go ahead.
What'd you say?
I said I was going outside, but anyway, go
ahead. Oh, okay. Yeah. So,
that bullshit.
Long story short, March, April's my birthday. I'm getting worse. I want to say like maybe like May, I fainted in my house. I had my man come over to give me and my son a cut. After he left, took a shower, passed out in the bathroom. Son scared to death.
Passed out. You just passed out.
Boom. Wow. I saw it come. I was like, boom. I got out.
What happened? She started getting fuzzy to you, like, because I don't think I ever, one time back in the days, like during a football practice, doing like these sprints, it was mad hot, and I fainted or some shit. Right. That's the only time that's ever happened to me in my life. Like, I don't even really know what it's like to fucking just black out like that.
Yeah, I was hot.
Just 1 minute you was chilling, the next minute.
I was taking a shower. I got out the shower. I hadn't even dry. I ain't even dry off.
Wow.
I was just like, bomb.
And you did so you did a slippery drop. That's one of the worst falls.
Yeah,
slippery fall.
I could have been dead off of that.
Hell yeah, you could have slipped, fucking hit your fucking head on the fucking.
Yeah. I hit my head, but I don't. I got up. I know I was out for like maybe like a minute. You know what I'm saying?
So a slippery naked fall is what you
right.
did.
Right.
Wow.
Super.
They just found you wet and naked on the floor.
Nah, I got myself together.
Okay.
My son called his mom. His mom called 911. My neighbor came, but I got myself together. I was like, nah. I ain't going out like this. I had to get, so I just,
Wait,
It
now
was
how
the
old's your
process
son?
of like an hour. You know
How
what
old's
I'm
your son?
saying?
How old is your son?
You said what?
How old is your son?
Oh, Caden is 9.
9. So a
Yeah.
9-year-old, he had to call somebody to get you
Ye-
assistance.
Yeah, because he heard it. He was playing like 2K or whatever. Yeah, like
Mm-hmm.
I said, we was chilling. I just both got a cut. You know what I'm saying? And he needed it, like, like he hadn't had a cut like a month and a half. You know what I'm saying? So I couldn't even. I was like, yo, I can't look at you like this. He was like fuzzy all over. So he was chilling. He was just playing the game and shit. And he heard it like boom, boom. He's like, Daddy, you are. I say, I ain't respond at first because I was, until it was like until I, came to. So he was just like, and then we went from there. I was like, yo, call your mother through the door, whatever, and just got myself together. By the time the EMS came, I just do something on or whatever the case is that was already in the bathroom.
So you fell out, you went to the hospital, and
Nah, I ain't go to the hospital. That's the crazy shit. Like I was like, nah, I'm chilling. I'm good. I ain't fucking with it. Cause I was just annoyed. You know what I'm saying? So I was like, yo, I just, like I said, once again, you get back to that bad.
What if I have Rona and they quarantine me or some shit?
Right.
All kind of shit you was thinking
All kind
about.
of shit was just running through my head. You know what I'm saying? So they took my blood pressure. They said I was all right. And I was just like, yeah, I'm going to just chill. You know what I'm saying? So then, at this, maybe a couple of days later, Kim Kardashian had actually found me a private doctor to go to uptown. And I went there, and they actually thought I had pneumonia at first. So then they sent me to Mount Sinai, and I took the COVID test. That shit hurt. I took a Hep C test. I took a HIV test, and everything came back negative. So then it was like, all right, so if it's none of these things, then what's wrong? Because I was still under the notion that the diabetes was under control. You know what I'm saying? Like I I went off the the correspondence with the primary physician, and he's a good guy and everything, but he's just not he just wasn't at the level where I was at health wise to like really call it. You know what I'm saying? So I'm thinking it's not, the diabetes is contained, and it wasn't. Like I said, once it's in your body, at any given point, chaos can ensue. You know what I'm saying? So with the inflammation, basically, the inflammation is just basically pouring, it was already, the diabetes had already poured lighter fluid all over my cells, and once the inflammation came, that was a matchstick. So that's lupus. So for people who don't really understand lupus,
I was gonna say, please, because I think a lot of us feel like we do understand what diabetes is, but when we hear lupus, I mean, it's something that we heard of,
right?
But I don't think we fully understand what it is. So for those that don't know, could you please explain what lupus is?
So
and how
lupus
it's acquired?
is an autoimmune disease that basically turns your cells against you. Your body is in so much chaos that, and the diagnosis is called lupus. It's when your cells and your body begin to attack you because they're in chaos. They say lupus is Latin for the wolf. It really, you turn into like your body is like in attack mode against itself, because it's on fire.
Copy.
You know what I'm saying? So what you wind up having to do in treatment is because there's no, so it's just like a fire. It's like any other fire. So basically, the best thing you could do with a fire, is ash it out. You know what I'm saying? But it's always, it's like when you ash out a fire, right? And you see when it's glowing orange, it's not on fire, but everything is black and it's glowing orange. So if you trigger that orange again, you right back to a blaze, right? Or if you contain it, then that's a manageable situation where everything won't be destroyed.
Right. So you're saying that the diabetes is what led to the lupus? Because I feel
Yes.
like I've heard of people having lupus just on its
No,
own.
people have lupus on. For me, that's what happened.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So genetically, that I don't. There's nobody else who has lupus. There's no other family member that I can pinpoint that has lupus. My dad doesn't have it. My mother doesn't
Right.
have it. My sister doesn't have it. My step brother, my half brother and sister don't have it. So you know, but because my grandfather was on dialysis, so I'm assuming, but he was 89, but I'm assuming he must have had diabetes, but it was never diagnosed as such.
Right.
Um, because anyhow you on dialysis, you have kidney issues. That's all sugar, so that's diabetes. It's see medicine when you have information is not as complex as the terminologies fill in your head. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, lupus is basically when I figured out I had lupus, I understood why I had it. It wasn't like, yo, what the fuck? It was like, yo, basically I had the crick. You know what I'm saying? The shit set a fire. My cells was already flammable, so that was it. You know what I'm saying? So now it became how do we put the fire out, which is very difficult and very enduring to go through. And fortunately enough, I'm blessed. I'm here and I can speak on it. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? Now, like I said, even today, I still have to be very, very mindful and careful of what and how I do things because that fire is still flammable. You know what I mean? Although I've gained my weight back, but like I said, so when you see me in them pictures,
Mm-hmm.
everybody, people might have thought I was sniffing coke. Hey, nigga, I don't know, but I'm gonna tell you what it was. It's summertime when I get diagnosed with both, and so it's 95 degrees in New York with humidity.
Mm.
So if I step outside, I'm gonna lose five. I literally lose five. Have it was points I stepped outside, I lost like maybe 2, 3, 4, 5 pounds
Mm.
just from being outside because it's on fire outside and I'm on fire inside.
That's crazy.
You know what I'm saying? So it's
Mm-hmm.
like it's 2 pistols to my head every day I was getting up,
Mm.
and that's fine. I'm cool with that. I come from where I come from. I dealt with it. You know what I'm saying? And I think people take a little bit. I just want to clear something up. I think people take things out of context when I said I was body shaming. Yeah, I was body shaming. It didn't hurt my feelings, nigga. I had my head kicked the fuck off out here. You know what I'm saying? So when I say that, it's really for other people. It's not for me, nigga.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I think people get things misconstrued. Like, I'm looking for sympathy. I'm not looking for sympathy. I'm looking to help others that are dealing with this. Because I'm going to get mine regardless.
So how have you been dealing with this? Like, how is it dealing with this?
Just
What
day
what
by
what do you
day.
have to do to deal with it? You taking insulin
I'm
shots and
taking
all that type
insulin.
of stuff?
So that was a turning point because, psychologically, I was always like, I'm type 2. And I got to a doctor and they was like, yo, if you don't take insulin, you're probably gonna die. If you go back to taking Jamar and Farzinga, because I had met with an endocrinologist and they was like, yo, basically you need to take insulin. And I was just like, oh, that's like real diabetes. I don't really want to, you know what I mean? Like
It's a
I was
real
kind of like
diabetes.
in my head, like
Yeah.
I don't be on that. You know what I'm saying? But they brought in the supervisor, and that's how I even came up with the title of my EP because this man was like, yo, my angel with a message, but he was like, yo, look, I know what you're used to, but things are different now. And if you don't take insulin, it's not looking good. Because what insulin, but he was like, yo, but if you do take it, what it will do for you is restore your energy. You'll get your appetite back. Because they like had me charted as like anorexic and all kinds of shit. And I was like,
wow.
And I'm eating. I'm spending bread on, but I'm not eating right. I'm not informed enough to make these recovery terms. You know what I mean? So for a minute I was eating and it was doing me no justice at all.
And so you treating the diabetes is treating the lupus. You see what I'm saying? Like, is there a
No,
medication for
they're
lupus or
two
something like that?
separate. They're two separate they're two separate animals.
Right. So when you first made your announcement,
But
what'd
they,
you
but they,
say?
but
What'd you
they.
say? I got a 2 for 1. You made some sort of little.
Yeah, I was like, yeah, I don't have to. This is not the Travis Scott Happy Meal.
Oh yeah.
I got a combo.
Right. I got a combo meal.
I
That's
got
what you
what Jay
said.
Dilla and Fife had as a combo Happy Meal.
Right.
Right.
That's crazy, yo. Combo meal. But it spoke to me though that you were able to like even make light of it in that kind of way. Um
Yeah,
I
yeah, I
don't know. It
mean,
just kind of spoke to your character when I read that.
yeah, you never want to lose yourself, no matter what.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And even in a situation that for many would probably be like dire straits. You know what I'm saying? For me, it was just like, all right, we're gonna have to make another comeback. I've been doing it for 2 decades though. I've
Right.
been, one step forward, or 2 steps backwards, 3 steps forward. You know what I mean? So I looked at it no different. I just had to question myself. I was like, am I tired? Because if you're tired, then you're done. You just need to go sit down. You know what I'm saying? But I was on my couch and a lot of things were happening, and I was just like, yo, if I don't get off the couch, I'm gonna be an invalid. That's the reality of it. I got an assistant making me kale smoothies, and I shouldn't be drinking kale.
Mm.
And um, it was just, it was getting to the point where if I didn't get up, I was gonna be gone. Like, even if I would have still been in the land of the living, I would have been gone. Like, psychologically, it was just like, it was a lot. It was a lot. It was a lot. I'm not gonna sit in front like I got no cape on. It was a lot. So, you know, like I said, I'm blessed. For me to even be sitting here, I didn't even have this voice 2 months ago. Like, my shit was gone. Everybody was on the phone with me thought was like, I was, people like family members was calling me, and like a couple cousins couldn't even contain it. They were just like, yo, oh my gosh, yo, what the fuck is going on? You know what I'm saying? And I was so recluse at that point. I just was like, yo, I love you. That's all I would tell motherfuckers, like, yo, I
Mm.
love you. You know what I'm saying? Because I just ain't want nobody to see me like that. I just couldn't. That was the part that I could. I couldn't. I didn't want. It was already enough. My son was like, basically like, damn, daddy, like, I hope I don't lose you. I could see it in his eyes. He never had to say it. You know what I'm saying? But I know he was just like mentally preparing himself for if I would have died this year. You know what I'm saying? Like during the summer. Cause look, every day is a new day. You don't know when you're gonna go. You know what I'm saying? That's not really up to us as human beings. But at the end of the day, when you're watching a situation like my son, like that was the most painful shit for me was my son, because it's like I already had him in my 30s, so he's not like, I'm at the age where I literally probably should have had a grown kid at this point. You know what I'm saying? But because, I did music for so long and I put it off and I was dealing with deal situation and this, that, and the third, and it wasn't the right time. And then when I finally had him, you know what I'm saying? Like I said, I was mid 30s and I know he need me. You know what I mean? I know that. So um, I can't, all I could do was pray on it because I was like, yo, I can't let him come into man. If there's any way that I can have my life prolonged, because I know he need me. He can't do this by himself. You know what I'm saying? Like he can't do this black man this black man life right now without me. You know what I'm saying? Like he's a you know his mother may be Caucasian, but he's a black man. He's gonna be a black man. He's a black boy. He identifies as African American in all facets, and much love to her family, but they can't raise my son if I'm not here. Like they're not gonna know what to do with him. They don't know his destination. You know what I'm saying? And so for me, that's why I had to get up. I was like, yo, I gotta curl a weight. I gotta do something, man. I gotta do something. I can't let this shit go down like this.
Right. Well, you know, we saw you on Love and Hip Hop with your wife and your son. Um, and as you mentioned, you are married to a Caucasian woman. Um, what's that like? What was your what?
Well, we're
How did
actually
that?
we're
How did?
actually not married.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Well,
we're not married. We were together at the time. We've gone through a series of up and downs, but that's still the mother of my son in all regard and all respect. So no matter what, um, you know, give
are
her
y'all
her
together right
flowers.
now?
Nah, 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 nah,
Okay.
nah. We just we're in a real, it's just a lot. It's a lot of, but it's for me. It's private. You know what I'm saying? I'm never the guy to spill out my relationship laundry on the internet or anything
Right.
like that. But she's always Caden's mom, and that was one of the things with Love and Hip Hop, that and I know I caught flack for a lot of for being on there with her, just what I'm saying, but it was something that she wanted to do, and the woman had a C-section for my son to be born. So for me, it was just like, you know, I, if this is the bill, then if this is the ticket for the C-section, then hey, let's do it. You know what I'm saying? That's gonna make her happy because, like, I have one child. Nobody, in fairness to her, nobody else gave me a child. I've been dating for years. Um, so
So she's the only one that basically you skeeted freely and she got pregnant. That's what you
yeah, I
said.
mean, we were living together. I mean,
Okay.
yeah.
Now,
So when I like, even when I say like we weren't, we never walked down the aisle, but and here's another thing. I think this is a good thing to do with you because you just she's she's not my white queen. She's
she's not your
somebody.
milk of magnesia. She's
She,
not your
nah. It's just I didn't look at her. I didn't, when I met Jen, um, I came out of
cuz not to cut you off, but I just want to say you're in a very B1 space. B1 means black first. Okay? So a
right,
lot of people that watch this show are you know what I mean? Are B1, like you know what I mean? Like
right, right, right.
so they're kind of interested in your thought process of you a dude from Queens and all of that. You know what I mean?
Right.
You probably grew up more around black people. How did he even you know
Well,
how did she
look,
become a prospect? You just was messing with all kinds of broads as far as like once you get in the rap game. You know what I mean? Like,
it's a
or did
combination
you
of
always
yeah,
just
definitely.
like
I mean, I had always. She's the only. It was one other. She was. I had sex with two Caucasian women in my whole life.
Mm,
One was when I was doing the Beatrons of Life album with Tribe, which was like '95. And then fast forward to Jen, 2007. I met her. She was um, working with Who Kid on his radio show.
okay.
And she like had me on her vision board, and she was like a fan of my music, and initially it didn't. It wasn't, she gave me a number and shit, invited me to a party. She was working with a songwriter named Adonis who wrote My Boo for Usher and Alicia Keys. So he had a birthday party in the Gansevoort area. So I had just pulled up, but we was just on some cool shit.
Mm-hmm.
But through my whole life, I had dated all black women. You know what I'm saying? And when I met Jen, I had got out of a relationship with a woman that I was with. Was like a stepfather to a child.
Mm.
Black woman. She was a little older than me, but we broke up, and it was a bad breakup. Um, and so I went back I went, I went back out in the field. You know what I'm saying? I'll be honest, my feelings was hurt. You know what I'm saying, with the way that panned out, and so I was dating, Jen. I was dating Dominican chick uptown. I was dating a chick in Brooklyn.
I can say it
I was
now.
freaking.
I can say it now. I had a few.
Yeah. I was freaking. I'll keep it a bean. I was freaking. I had the 500 drop, and I was freaking. And me and Jen just had, at the time, we just got along, and was, um, she just was going, she was going hard.
Shout out to Rod Diggers in the building. She's in the chat right now.
Digger, first name Rashia.
She couldn't get her glam squad together this early in the morning, or else she would have joined us.
Oh, okay.
But
so good.
Yeah, she's here with us in spirit. She's in the chat right now.
So so at the time, I gave it a shot. I gave it a shot. Yeah, I gave it a shot, and we grew from there. And
something beautiful came from it. You had your
son. I don't have no regrets in that aspect. I love my son. I love I have an immense amount of love and respect for Jen, for having my son, and just for the relationship that we have been in. You know what I'm saying? So I just choose to take the high road, but that doesn't make her my white queen. And so for everybody who kind of,
is it my white queen?
No, because I come back in the public. People are bringing up when I said light skin is the right skin on Love and Hip Hop.
Oh, I don't remember you said that. Did you say light skin is the right skin?
Look, I was doing a song. Look, I was doing a song for a person named L'Oreal. She's not. She doesn't even rap anymore. So in hindsight, it's like, it was
that line got me into trouble for nothing.
That line got me into
for a rapper that fucking ain't even around no more.
Right. She does radio with Angela Yee, and she, it's cool, but it's all cap because there's no real career. You know what I'm saying? Whereas, Angela has spoke to me. Me and Angela are good friends, and we've been friends for a while. She loves my son. And, at the time, she asked me to do a joint for her. So we had came up with this shit called Redbone because she's light skinned as hell. But it wasn't like white skin. So people say, take the line and say, I said light skin is the right skin, so you and your white friend. Now, I was correlating it in my head to being on tour, where it's like I said, I always dated I've dated a variety of black women, and me being on tour, it's even if it's 3 or 4 black girls, they always got one white freaky bitch with them. That's all it was. It wasn't meant to be like a shot against dark-skinned women ever. You know what I'm saying? And they took it on the show and they spun it like, and when I'm in the scene, I'm kind of like trying to defend which was a bad idea, and I take responsibility for it. I'm trying to defend my right not to be censored, and I can say, because I felt like I'm in the scene with somebody telling me now that they don't want to do a song because of a line I said, and I was just like, yo, well, at the end of the day, I never even been in that kind of situation. You know what I'm saying? I don't really, coming from where I come from, we never bowed down to censorship. We said what was on our chest, and we stuck to our guns when we felt a way about something. It's not that I felt a way about light skin to right skin. I felt a way about me being able to say whatever I want as consequence. You know what I'm saying? And I think people have taken it and think now I'm a colorist, and that it doesn't make any sense, my nigga. It's like literally, like I said, I understand. I came on a show with a white woman, and I have a baby with her, but she's not my white queen. I run my crib.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And if I don't run my crib, then changes get made.
Are you in a relationship right now? And what kind of woman are you with right now?
I'm chilling.
You chilling?
Yeah, I'm chilling. I'm chilling.
In shout out to my man Star from Star and Buck Wild. In my Star voice, would you ever revisit the pink toe?
On a commitment level, nah, I'm cool. I'm cool. It's a culture clash.
But you would smash a pink toe, yes?
I'm freaking. Nah.
He said, I'm freaking.
I mean, you know, well, first things first, I've been kind of just chilling for a minute because my health has been, and my between my health and my job, been very consumed.
So no pink toes right now.
You know, the DM lit.
He said, my DM's lit.
DM
I mean,
lit.
I was on
DM
Love and Hip Hop.
You know,
They seen the pink toes, seen me with they seen me with us. So you know, they hit me up like, hey, I see you like those pink toes, brother.
Right.
My
y'all
toe
still
is
mad?
pink.
Y'all, you know, because I mean, you know, because the way I carry myself, everybody just assumes we were married, and you know, they seen the picture from the birthday party, and you know, assume we married or whatever the case is. But
right. Why do we assume that? Did y'all say y'all was married on there?
She said she was my wife, I think. You know what I'm saying? But I wasn't gonna, you know, I wasn't gonna say no, you're not. You know what I'm saying?
Until now. Until
well,
hey, now that we ain't together, let me keep it real. We was never married. I don't know what she talking about. Yeah, she just had my child.
Nah, but I respected her like she was my wife though. So it wasn't
You didn't need the paper.
Where
so in your mind, she was your wife.
Huh?
In your mind, she was your wife at that time.
She
yes.
Was my wife. Yeah,
okay, y'all just wasn't on paper.
We just legally never got married, but in my mind, she was my wife. That's why I didn't have a problem with it. She was
right.
That you know, like I didn't have a son for him to have separated parents. You know,
right.
It just you know, we did a reality show. That shit took a major toll on our relationship. You know, just to be honest, you know, it wasn't easy after the show, and you know, I've never really said anything about it, but it wasn't easy at all. You know, like there were real issues in my crib, and I didn't like it. I was very upset about the shit. You know what I'm saying? Because you know, when I started getting called Uncle Tom for some shit, that wasn't part of the plan. You know
well, hold up. You didn't when you got asked to go on Love and Hip Hop and all that, and you know, you knew this was your woman. You know, a lot of black people watch Love and Hip Hop. Nothing in your mind said, damn, black people might have a problem with this. They might have a problem with me coming on here with a white girl. Nothing in your mind said that?
I'll be real with you. Like, even the producers was like, yo, you know, I knew one of the Stephanie Gale. I knew her from when she worked at Sony in the music business. And she was just like, I just don't put you and her together. And I was just like, I mean, that's understandable, but this is what it is. You know what I'm saying? And, you know, I thought it would be, and initially it was, I thought it would be something that would help people.
In what way? How did you think you'd help people?
Just seeing that you could coexist black and white. But and I think some people were into it, and I'll be honest with you, a lot of people weren't into it. Like when we were shooting, I remember the lead makeup artist being in my house and say, I just don't really like the fact that she lives with you. And I was like, you could just get the fuck out of my crib. Like, I respected what she said as my black sister, but I ain't respect her overstepping her boundaries in my house. You know what I'm saying? Like, you don't really get to tell me what to do in my house where I pay my motherfucking bills. And I really pay my bills off of music. I don't pay my bills off of Love and Hip Hop. So, you know, there's a culture and a perspective with being a cast member. Like, you know, they really try to play that hamster game with motherfuckers. You know what I'm saying? Because it becomes, well, you know, you need scenes and you want to get your check and
fuck y'all, fuck you and your show. This is my real life.
Right, this is my real life where you got motherfuckers on there faking it and using other people's cribs. They seem like they in my house. I'm using my cars, you know, my studio, my engineers, and it's all being manipulated some things to my liking, some things not to my liking. You know what I'm saying? I remember we shot a scene in the mosque, and we got when it got to TV, the mosque was called Al Ham. The mosque I went to was called Alhamdulillah. Now, I explained to them that Al means the in Arabic, and so basically we had the mosque called the Ham, the Swine. My mosque is called the Swine on TV. Yeah, so I smacked somebody on the show. Because I do not tolerate disrespect on no level, and I say it 8 years later.
Did you have something?
We're not gonna talk about that. It's a.
See, I be forgetting, but you did have something on the reunion, right?
Yeah.
There was a little squabble. Who was that? Who was that with? Just refresh my memory. Joe Budden's, right? Yeah, I forgot.
Joe Budden. You know what I mean?
I forgot all about that. Shout out to Joe Budden.
Shout out to Joe Budden. How you doing, Joe?
Listen. So earlier, right, in the comments, somebody put that you were like top 5 ghostwriter of all time.
I'll say number 1.
He said, "I'll say number 1."
I'll say number 1, but I mean, who's counting?
Let's talk about ghostwriting. Let's talk about some of the people you've ghostwritten for, and how did you even get into that? How does somebody get into ghostwriting?
Well, I think for me it was the evolution of things. I think it starts with bouncing ideas. I had a lot of ideas coming into rap. I was, I came through rap through a Tribe Called Quest vehicle.
Legendary.
And, at that time, I was kind of in the middle of Q-Tip and Fife. And
now you cousins with Tip, yes?
Hi Tip, how you doing?
All right.
So I like I said, I was kind of in the middle of what would eventually lead to the date. It wound up the group disbanded after the album, by the Love Movement or whatever the case is. But and so it was kind of like, we bouncing ideas, you ain't taking a lot, this, that, so and one thing that it did being in that scenario kind of showed me was that you need an abundance of lines in rap. Like, you do need abundance. Right. One verse is not the same as 8 features or 7 features. Like I got like 6, 7, 8 features on Beachfronts of Life, and I think and for it's a double-edged sword. And like for Dial Tribe fans, they were like, "What's going on?" But for my publishing, it was like, "This is what's going on." And once I began to understand publishing, it was an attractive thing to then say, I could write rhymes for myself, and then even maybe even do for other artists. So what a lot of people don't know, I had a group back in 1998 called Guilty, and we had a deal on Raucous. And I had a partner, and ironically,
I said, remember Raucous?
Yeah. Black Sean gave us a little, sent us a wire. Rest in peace to my man Shaka, who brokered that for us. Being in that group, my partner, his name is Menace, like we were writing together, and he was going through some stuff, and I ended up having to cook a couple of verses for him. And then fast forward, the group, we eventually broke up. It was because I was kind of feeling like the writing, it was like I was doing the bulk of it or whatever. So the money situations and shit like that. So we just just dissolved it, but it was still love. And then then fast forward, I meet Ye, and we began sparring.
How'd y'all meet?
Well, after the Raucous situation was 9/11, and I tried to get the deal back activated because they had we took too long to deliver the records. You know what I'm saying? And like I said, it was even to the point where I just started writing, just here because he was still in the street hustling and shit, and it was like he's trying to, get advanced back then. This is the 90s.
Whoa. Who was in the street hustling? What are you talking about?
My partner.
Oh.
He was in the street.
I thought you said Kanye. I'm like, what?
No. Before I met Kanye. So like I said,
okay.
I run through this. I run through this paper. 9/11 hit. The Raucous deal ended up being terminated. So now I'm back as a solo artist, and 88 Keys had called me up. Now I'm in the crib. I'm popped. I'm popped. It's like 2002 January. I'm popped. I ran through all my bread. I'm just like, I'm gonna have to go back to work or some shit. And then 88 called me, and my man Hans Elder had actually had told me about because initially Hans Elder is cousins with D-Dot, and it was still this bad boy was still on fire. So Kanye was signed to D-Dot as a producer at one point. So Hans was like, yo, you should meet this kid Kanye. He just moved to New York, and y'all remind me of each other. And he got like really big commercial hooks, and because I guess he had heard like because back then Kanye had Jesus Walks, he had what would turn into All Falls Down, and he had a few other joints that were on a College Dropout. So he was moving around and playing them for everybody or whatever the case is. And so 88 Keys is my man from the Tribe days or whatever. So he had hit me up, and Kanye they were having a conversation, and Kanye brought up, I don't know, he brought my name up. He was like, yeah, I know Quince, that's my man. Boom, 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 boom. He was like, word, can you get him to come out? So, I ended up coming out there they was both living in Newark at the time. And it's funny, I came to Kanye crib, and he was like, yo, I'm Kanye, man. I'm gonna be the next Michael Jackson. I was like, yo, hi, kid.
That's literally what he said to you.
Huh?
That's literally what he said to you. I'm Kanye. I'm gonna be the next Michael Jackson.
That's literally what he said to me at his door before I walked in. Like,
see, that's ill though. That kind of belief. See, there's crazy, because I've heard niggas say shit like that, and they did not become the next Michael Jackson.
Right.
What makes somebody? You see what I'm saying? Like,
yeah, but I'm just like, all right. So how you plan on doing that? That was my question to him.
Okay.
So he's like, yo, let you hear, boom, 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 boom.
So you didn't just immediately laugh. You just said.
No, I laughed. I was like, you a funny nigga. I said, how you planning on doing that?
You a funny nigga. Yeah.
How
the fuck you gonna do that?
Nigga,
can you dance, nigga?
I didn't really.
Can you do a spin, motherfucker?
I'm gonna be honest with you. I was so fucked up that I was just like, I was looking for a lick. You know what I'm saying? So you could tell me how you gonna do that, then we could talk, because I need some paper. You know what I'm saying? And that was my energy with it. And I think I don't know if he ever had met a nigga as hungry as I was at that time. You know what I'm saying? Because you gotta understand, like, I had already been in the industry. I was sick and tired of working with producers. So this was just like another. It was only because it was really at the time. It was because it was the conversation with Aiden and the conversation with Hans, which made me circle back. Like, all right, I'll run out there and shit. You know what I'm saying? But like, I had been in a couple of situations with being signed to a producer, and I was just not with it. But me and him had a conversation that was really cool, and it was just like he had a different perspective. In addition to the Michael Jackson part, it was just like, yo, so what happened with Tribe? And I was like, I really didn't want to get into it. I was just like, shit just ain't work out, and it's cool though and shit. But he's like, yo, but I remember listening to you, and you was always that nigga. You know what I'm saying? I was like, oh, okay.
He's like, what? For real?
And so he's like,
I
yo,
always
look,
thought
I
so.
work with Jay, Beans, Bleak, you know, and if why don't we do this? Why don't you come out here? Because I'm out here for Dolo. Why don't you pull up? Come out here, you know, we could rap. I'll play you the beats before I even give them to Rockefeller. We could rap. We could do that. I could help you maybe make your Consequence solo LP. I'm looking definitely for help with my shit. So maybe this could be a situation that we can help each other. And that was really the first time anybody had ever approached me in a mutual way. You know what I'm saying? It was like, you know, like prior to that, like, I mean, I was in Tribe, but I don't have a Q-Tip produced album. You know what I'm saying? So it was like really, at the end of the day, I just helped Tribe.
Right.
When you look at the books, you know what I'm saying? It wasn't a, you know, as far as a Consequence endeavor, there was never anything that became a finished product. You know what I mean? Um, in terms of LP and things that would mutually benefit career wise. You know what I'm saying? So this was the first time that somebody had spoke to me, and I respected it because he didn't have to. I mean, if you already working with Jay Beans and Bleak and Parking Lot Pimpin' is out at the time.
Right. Why you gotta fuck with me?
Yeah. You don't gotta fuck with me. You know what I'm saying? So it's what he saw in my artistry that and that conversation was why we still have a relationship to this day.
So, I mean, let's talk about like how is it working with Kanye? Like,
Um,
so you've been going all play. You've been to Wyoming? Have you been out there?
yeah, of course.
How is it out there?
Uh, it's wonderful.
He said it's wonderful.
It's wonderful. It's a fucking go-kart track in the back
Yeah,
and
you
everything.
just
It's
driving the
crazy.
fucking ATVs around the
Yeah.
fucking
My son
acres
went
and
out there.
acres of
We went out there
land
for
and
Noah's
shit.
birthday party. That shit was, it's wonderful out there. You know what I mean? It's everything is in New York, obviously, but it's I caught a bop out there. I actually went out there when I first got diagnosed. I just ran out there, like took my son out there for Noah's birthday party, and
Does it seem like the air is cleaner and shit like that out there?
yeah, just
Good
just
place to
yeah,
go clear your mind type of
yeah. Nobody
situation.
yelling and screaming and shit. Like definitely a different vibe, and I definitely as a rapper, sometimes you need that. I remember we used to in the '90s we used to go up to Bearsville, um, to go record. I went up there to record Mike Geronimo and a couple other projects or whatever. It's just go up there and just not have to hear yelling and screaming. You know what I mean? So Wyoming kind of gives me like the same
See, it's
space.
funny. Like I never felt like that. Like we never felt like, yo, we should go off somewhere quiet and go make an album. Like we always kind of like, wanted to be in the mix of the shit. Like, you go to the studio and then maybe after the studio, y'all go out somewhere type of shit. Like, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like, so
I
we was
mean, I
always
think
going to studios and shit in the city and shit like that. Like,
yeah, I think, but see, it was different. The culture of the city was different. You know what I'm saying? Like New York, right now, it's it's in a real funny space. It don't there's not you're talking about going to the Hit Factory. You're talking about going to the Sony studio. You're talking about going to Battery. You're talking about Sound on Sound. You're talking about Chung King. You're talking about Platinum Island. You're talking about Quad. You're talking about all these places that where the culture was like. So you would run into an OC or Buck Wow or Havoc or you know what I'm saying. We don't. It's not that anymore. You know what I'm saying. And so when things change, you gotta adapt. You know what I mean. And so for New York, it's not like, let's be honest, like New York has been in a drought for the longest. You know what I'm
hmm.
saying? So I can't really hold my head on that vibe no more because we don't have that. We don't have those facilities. We don't. To be honest, we don't have 100% of that camaraderie. One of the reasons I was so like, yo, I have to do this with you is just because you and I have always had a camaraderie. Like you've done verses for me. Like I want to, and a lot of times we don't have that no more. We don't have
And
that
you did some
reciprocation.
easy shit.
It's easy shit.
No,
yeah.
no. I said, and you did some Yeezy shit.
What you
when
mean?
when I laid the verse for you, right? Remember me and Sadat laid the verse.
Right.
You did some old chop up of the verse type of Kanye. I know that's some shit. Tell the truth. That's some shit that you seen this motherfucker do in the studio.
I mean, it's just some record making shit though, but I love it.
Right. It was interesting. It was interesting to say the least. But yeah, I've never experienced that. Usually you put a verse down and it's the verse. You know what I mean? You did some real like creative, like, all right, I'm gonna take these pieces of the verse and put them here and there, like, and I was like,
well, that's not really.
I said, this feel like some Kanye shit right here.
Just so you clear though, that's what I do.
Okay.
That's what I do.
And he's adapted
that.
that.
For one of his records, and people are gonna hear it and they're gonna love it. But I just did that for one of his new records. It's funny because he was like, "Yo, can you do boom, boom, boom? I need you to do it." And it's exactly what I did with the record we did.
Right.
But
okay.
I'll be honest with you, that record went off like a rocket when it went out like that. You know what I'm saying?
No, it was dope. It was dope. I was just like,
no, I know.
This is different.
I know, but you gotta remember, like, I've evolved into, and definitely being around the producers that I've been around. I'm a producer myself. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So at the end of the day, I want to make the best musical experience possible. You know what I'm saying? So I go through it. I do it to myself. You know what I'm saying? It's not, it's not a thing like where I just get shit and I do it to myself. Like if I feel like I'm, like as a rapper, obviously you wanna complete your thought. You know what I'm saying? So sometimes my thoughts are 64 bars. That doesn't work for a record. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Like as a producer, I have to reel it back in and say, all right, now when somebody hears this, where do they participate at? You know what I'm saying? Because I think the beautiful thing about the 90s, like when y'all made all the albums, all the brand new albums, it just, you guys didn't have to I don't know. I wasn't in the room, but I know me hearing it, and when I hear All for One, and when I hear all of them, Your Joy, Dance to My Ministry, everything was like in this perfect bomb, in and out, bomb. You know what I'm saying? And I'm always looking for that because I study the game. You know what I'm saying? So when I study, I do look for lyrics, and I also look for song composition, so that, like I said, I'm just, even in like, even like when I made The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly with Kanye, that's one of the first records that we made. Like that was like people took to, I definitely had to be mindful of the composition. Like, yo, this need another verse, or you know what I'm saying? So I'm always doing that. So it's never with it's always from a point of upgrade. Even if there's a scale back, you know what I'm saying?
So what do you think is what's the most valuable thing you've learned working with Kanye? Like, what do you see that he does that helps propel him to the kind of success that he's enjoyed?
I mean, just as an action item, I think that consistency and just working. It's very rare. It's very rare that there's days off. In his world, definitely, and he's always looking for the new frontier, and I think that's I think that's it's just an important aspect of securing revenue and just in leadership. You know what I'm saying? Like at the end of the day, like we can't rest our laurels on yesterday. It's done. Whatever's gonna come in is coming in, and that's it. You know what I'm saying? And that may be as small as hundreds. That may be as large as tens of millions. But you know, the more you live life, more children, more you know, you know, we are in a space in time right now where we can outdo every stereotype that we ever had to hear in the '90s. That you don't have a long shelf life as a rapper. You can't make a certain amount of money. It's this, that, and the third. And I think if you work hard, you can see results. And I think that's the name of the game. Um, it's funny. Boo Thiam, Akon brother, manages Jay. He was like, "Yo, does he sleep?" I was like, "Nah, he don't really sleep. I never really. He doesn't. Like not like that. He doesn't really sleep like that. Just not
Mm.
I've never seen him sleep in the daytime unless he was like dead ass tired. Other than that, like during the day, he's up moving around, and it's like, we're especially now, like we at a stage where you gotta, you got to put yourself in a frame of business to where you conduct business like a businessman. You know what I'm saying? So we may still wear hoodies and a little bit of jewels or whatever the case is, but we still clock in to work, and we still, are accountable for having deadlines and things needing to be done, and executing. Um, and that's the name of the game.
What do you think about Yeezy? You know, rocking with Trump, and then now going on to do his own little, try to run for president and all this type of shit. What's your take on that?
Well, I think the presidential um, run is, I think it's significant in the fact that whether you agree with him doing it or not, I had a phone call with him the other day, and I was just like, yo, it really was crazy to see his name on a ballot. You know what I mean? Now, obviously, we short time out from the election, and things are happening, but the conversation is growing, and I think it's skin in the game for him. It puts him in a space where whatever the outcome is, you know, that influence and that power and that and moving into that arena um, can only benefit him in the long run. Obviously, there's definitely um, divided opinion about him at the time when he was aligned with Trump. Kanye's always kind of been the kind of person who, if you tell him he can't do something, he goes out of his way to show you he can. Um, and um, it's a tough situation being just in general, right? Like it's just really it's a dealing with public perception and scrutiny, and you've dealt with it. I've dealt with it. He's dealt with it. It's not You're not gonna please everybody. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely
And
not.
you're and a lot of times, that's funny. I said in one of my new joints, I said it only takes two to get a cancel going. All you need is two people to have a conversation in a manner of dislike, and that spread, and then next thing you know, you're canceled, quote unquote. Until you put out something else hot, and then you're not canceled, but then you're canceled, and it's just like with me, it's like, oh, oh my gosh, I love you, consequence. I respect that you speaking up about your current health condition. Oh, I can't fuck with him, and this is your king because he said this, and it's like, yo, I look, scrutiny is scrutiny. And I said once before on the radio, I've lived on Scrutiny Boulevard a long time. I'm actually comfortable there. I got a milk crate, and I'm sitting there
You got a
with
milk crate set up
I got a milk
with a
crate, and
little
I'm sitting right
pillow
on the
on the
corner
top
with a
of it.
crack pack up my ass, nigga. Pause. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, it ain't nothing really. Yo, done sparked the Philly.
So listen, DMD TV. Shout out to DMD TV. They said, where do you rank Kanye amongst the elites of hip hop, knowing you've ghostwritten for him?
I think you can't question his contribution to hip hop, though. The ghostwriter shit is the music business. It's part of the music business.
But don't you think that the top, like that should be taken into consideration?
Look, this is what I
was saying. As far as in hip hop.
But see, this is the thing, right?
Hip hop and the music business is.
You saying hip hop from a culture standpoint, right?
Right.
There's two hip hops. There's the culture of hip hop, and then there's the business of hip hop.
Well, that's the
rap.
Problem,
so
that's
here's
the rap
where the problem
business.
arises when you ask that question, right? The problem arises because when you overemphasize the culture, you privatize the business aspect of it. See, we don't ask Dolly Parton who wrote nothing. We don't even ask, did Patti LaBelle write it?
No, we do know. It's known that Dolly Parton has written a lot of shit. She wrote the shit for that whatchamacallit sang, Whitney Houston.
Look, this is what I'm trying to say. We know Luther Vandross was the ghostwriter, right?
Yeah.
That's if people don't know, Luther Vandross was the ghostwriter. Prince was the ghostwriter. You know what I'm saying? But they're not regarded as ghostwriters. They're regarded as songwriters. The ghostwriting thing means that you weren't credited and you for somehow missed a check or a credit. That's what the whole ghostwriter thing is.
No, a ghostwriter is when
in the business part.
Because in rap,
let me finish my thought real quick.
Okay, go ahead.
So in the business part is what I'm describing. In the culture part is where it's like, no, but as a real rapper, you can't have somebody say, here, dude, this is your bars, where it's supposed to be from you and from the heart, right?
Because culturally, culturally, it's implied. See, it's not implied in R&B that everybody singing is writing their songs. There's songwriters and then there's songstresses. In hip hop, right? It's implied that the rapper saying this rap wrote this shit. Like that's something that's implied.
But that implication is backdated.
Well,
these little niggas don't. That implication is what you and I grew up off.
Because that's the foundation of it, and somewhere we went off track from that.
No, it's not that we went off track necessarily.
Well, no, you know what? There's been ghostwriters since the beginning. I'm not even gonna lie. There's been ghostwriters since the beginning.
Right.
There's been people writing shit for other people.
Hear me out.
Sugar Hill Gang.
Even like if you think about if you go back to like Sugar Hill and all that, right? The thing is, even in that instance, there's questions about crediting and so forth and so on in some of those instances. And for me, it's about the credit is what the ghostwriter term is sometimes thrown in the mix to credit the uncredited. You know what I'm saying? And the business aspect of that is where the poverty comes into play. Because most of the time, when you're speaking about these people, the money's not right. That's how it comes up in the conversation. You know what I'm saying? So when I compare it to other genres where somebody was credited and they received their royalty and they in a publishing deal, they're regarded as a songwriter and not a ghostwriter. Most of the time, a ghostwriter is somebody where it's like,
I don't agree with that, is what I'm saying. What I'm saying is you're saying that a ghostwriter is someone who didn't get credit on a song. I'm saying that's sometimes the case, but also a ghostwriter in hip hop also is a songwriter, just like you're saying in other genres. But what I'm saying in those other genres, you don't assume that they wrote the song that they're singing. That's the difference. In hip hop, and you can say that's an outdated thought, but it shouldn't be. It shouldn't be an outdated thought.
What I'm saying is it's not the only thought at this point. We have to be honest.
I feel you, and I feel
And
you.
and and
But
and
but 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 what I'm saying
I
is,
agree
in
with
hip
you. I
hop,
agree with you. I
that
never
has
ruled.
to be taken into consideration when we are rating our greats. I'm gonna put I'm gonna put Jay-Z before a Drake. Why? Because I know, from what I know, now you could correct me if I'm wrong because you run in those circles, but from what I know, Jay-Z writes all his shit.
Right.
Now,
Well, he doesn't even write it per se, pad and
right,
pen.
he spits all, he
Right,
creates
right.
all
But
his shit.
it's all his notes.
Whereas Drake is dope, he can rap, but he doesn't write all his shit. There's been reference tracks of songs we've heard him make and all
Right.
that type of shit that were written by other people. So now, and although he's a great entertainer, he got mad fucking hits. He's probably the only one that I can compare to a Jay-Z as far as hits wise goes.
Right. Well, see, the thing is also this: like, it's what you got into the. All right, so here's a fair question: do you think realistically that Drake came into the game to be the #1 lyricist in rap? I don't believe that. I think he top. I think his ambition may be #1 artist.
Right. I don't think people came in to be um true to the game. You see, they didn't come
But
in
see,
to
the thing
be
is, like, the game
to do it.
was,
See, we did it with certain parameters though.
no, I understand that, but those but all
And that's part of what made us great. That we knew we had to stay within
absolutely.
these
I don't think.
parameters.
I
I
don't think.
can't act like this guy. I can't look like him. I can't rap like him. I gotta find my shit. And I gotta write my own shit. Like these are all parameters that when you talk about the greatest, now you got people that's cheating.
Let me
Like
give
if
you
we
an
could have
example.
did that back then, if I could have hired, I had Grand Poobah and Sadat X, if I could have got these guys to write my raps and give me lines and shit like that, like,
Right.
come on, but we didn't do that type of shit.
Let me say this to you though. Right now, if I'm gonna say something that's gonna sound I wanted to make sure that I put a disclaimer out, like all due respect how I'm gonna frame this.
Gotcha.
Right now, look, I was in the Tribe Called Quest, right?
Mm-hmm.
In my business opinion, Tribe would have had a way longer run had they implemented more components to as big as a brand that they were. You know what I'm saying? Now, I know that they,
like what kind of components do you think?
Always retain 100% cultural integrity. But at the same time, if you have the opportunity, which many artists do not, let's not look, you managed to transition and maintain your brand, your integrity into the future, right? We're guys from the 90s. Let's be honest, right?
Mm-hmm.
Groups like, let's say, like I said, a Tribe, even like, let's say, like I'll say even like a CL Smooth, right? Always had ear candy voice, the production along the lines, the rhymes kind of fluctuated as far as this, like Tribe, right? Probably the best rhymes are in between low end and midnight, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, in the music business aspect of which I speak of, there would be no reason for them not to, at the level that they got to, toward the world, multi times over, platinum, not to implement nobody as far as from the writing aspect, even if you're not reading a
why though? Why?
Because they burnt out.
Okay, let's just keep it real. Some people burn out. Okay, let's go.
How many artists have we watched burn out trying to do it all by themselves?
But they still got a brand. So you're saying that some people can burn out and they'll just need help at some point. That's what you're saying.
I mean, that's the business part of it.
Mm.
That's just the business part of it. That doesn't make you a lesser anything. In my opinion, it doesn't, because once you in the business, we're not rapping just on the corner no more. So, or maybe you need to go recharge on the corner. But some's gonna have to recharge when it gets to a point where it's like we're gonna turn one corner to the other. And there's no reason to have a brand that's viable and not continuously service that brand to your buying public.
Could you back up just a little? Your head's cut off a little bit. Yeah, there we go.
There's no reason not to do that. You know what I'm saying? And everything in life has give and take. You might lose a little bit of the integral part of what you used to do, but in the future, you got a payroll of 30, 40 people.
Right, and that's when it gets away from. That's when shit starts to get away from you. I understand.
But it doesn't
like
have
at some
to,
point,
though.
you
But it
need the
doesn't
hits
have
to
to.
keep coming. What if you a rapper has, he was writing the shit, and now all of a sudden he's got a writer's block. You know what I mean? That's some
Right.
shit that's happened to people where they
Well,
get
you got
writer's block.
for-
But now we still
that's
need the
ridiculous.
payroll to keep going, and we still need, there's a deadline for this album. That's
Right.
where ghostwriters come in. And ghostwriters are not always people that didn't get credit and all of that. Sometimes they don't want the public to know that this motherfucker wrote the shit for them.
Yeah,
so
but
it's
but
a real
the problem
hush. We
with
bring
that
him in on some hush hush shit. We're gonna make it seem like he wrote this, but really he didn't write it, and that's happened all the time. Like that's happened a lot.
But that's the
time.
privatized aspect of which I'm speaking about, because at the end of the day, that doesn't happen in other genres. That's what I'm trying to say. Like at the end of the day,
because in other genres, it's not implied that the artist wrote the lyrics. That's what I'm telling you. So you can't keep saying that. Stop saying that.
No, but I can, because that implication is based on a fan's perspective. What literally happens is what literally happens.
Wait, what do you mean? What perspective is based
Because
on
the
a fan's
perspective
perspective?
is, like you said, because of the implication of the foundation, because of the foundation's implications.
In any other genre, we know that most people don't write their own songs. Most people don't do that. Most people know that when they see somebody singing a song, they don't assume that they wrote it unless you hear unless you hear that they're a singer songwriter. When someone's a singer songwriter, then you're like, okay, this person sings and writes their song. But when someone's just a singer, you don't assume because mad people.
I've never until I did not
like Elvis wasn't writing songs.
Look. I didn't know until I did my homework that Michael Jackson didn't write.
Right.
But you have to do your homework for that. That's not an automatic assumption.
Well, here's the thing.
You got to remember, you and I are in music. So those implications that we are in tune with are not the general public. You know
maybe I've studied music more than most people, yes.
Drake. Most kids see Drake, and until the whole Quentin Miller thing came out,
they thought he wrote his shit. And they thought he wrote his shit.
Right, but we don't even know how long that was going on. So we don't know what he.
The fact that it goes on at all, you see what I'm saying, breaks a certain code for a hip hop purist. That's it. I agree with that. There's justification for everything in this world.
Right, I agree with that. I'm just saying, as a consequence, no pun intended, that the artist that you love may have been inadvertently, when they hold too dear to that implication, may inadvertently cut short their own creativity. You know what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, I would love a new Slick Rick hot album. I don't know if that's in his composite at this point to do it, but I would love it. You know what I'm saying?
Well, then we don't need to manufacture it falsely. Then is how I would feel about it. If I can't get that real Slick Rick shit, like I don't give a fuck how good you rhyme, right? Like, you're not gonna fucking say the shit that Slick Rick can say. Like, just because of where he's from, being from, I said cheer up. I gave her a like. You're not gonna say cheer up. You're not gonna just the word cheer up. Like, and the way I said cheer up.
No,
like you're gonna write a dope. It's gonna have a dope punchline and all that type of shit. Right. But what made Slick Rick dope was the nuances that only he could have come up with. And so if he can't do that no more, I don't want no more Slick Rick. Just because the brand is, I don't want no more. Then don't be having somebody else write for him. She's a little cat face because he's hot right now to write for Slick Rick.
It doesn't have to be that line drawn. Also, just so you clear, it doesn't have to be that line drawn either. It can still be Slick Rick, and it can be contributing to the chorus or contributing to, why don't we put this little 8 bars right here? Like, there's a lot of this is art.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So it doesn't have to be. What I'm saying is, it doesn't have to be when you're dealing with, you have two sides of the coin. You have the culture, you have the business, right? At the end of the day, what my point is, I understand 100%, and I'm in agreement with you. I came up in the era I came up in, so I know 100% that when you are 100% the guy, there is no question about it, right? But I'm saying in my music travels and just being able to have, I wrote for Puff. He was on my remix. I wrote it. You know what I'm saying? Like, I wrote for Puff. I didn't look at Puff like, I looked at Puff like he did me a favor by letting me write it. Because I wanted him. I wanted his energy. I did a remix to Whatever You Want with him and the Locks, and we was in the studio, and it wasn't like.
But we already know Puff don't write his shit.
But I'm just giving you an example. I'll give you an example.
It's implied that he didn't write it. You see what I'm saying? Like, Puff is the first rapper that it's like, it's implied that he didn't write it.
Right. Well, look, what I'm saying is, because you asked me about ghostwriting, so I'm saying, like, at the end of the day, it's like the same principality I was saying earlier about when we did our record. It's not, obviously y'all wrote y'all's, but let's just make it clear. But what I'm saying is, when you're trying to get to a final product, and I wanted this to sound the way I wanted it to sound. So at the end of the day, so I step in and I say, let's do boom, 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 boom. And it's a collab. Most of the time, just to be clear, from what I have experienced, it's not like somebody just saying, here, read this piece of paper and do a voiceover. Nah, it's most of the time it's like, what you think it is? And boom, boom, boom.
No. It be like that sometimes. It be like that for these.
Read
this piece of paper, but they'll go in the booth. They'll lay down that reference track. This is how you should say it. These are the inflections here, and blah 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 blah. Nah, you should say it more like this. Da da da. Then they give you the typed out paper, and then you go in there and you study that shit, and then you go in there and say this other man's rap. Like, that happens, bro. Like, that's just what it is. And I'm just saying, like, from where I come from, real niggas don't do that. But we could, we can move on.
Yeah, it's cool.
Real niggas don't say other niggas raps, like, you know what I mean? And that's just what it is. Like, at least you're the one writing it for other people, so it ain't you. Wait, have you ever said anybody else's raps? Have you ever let anybody ghostwrite for you?
Maybe not the script, but a couple lines, like not a couple lines though. Yeah, but for me it's collab. Like that, okay. I don't, I'm not gonna sit here and be like, oh no, I'm never.
Right. You've taken a line.
Please give me some raps.
Yeah.
Please, nigga. I know how to back this shit up and flip it. Nigga, please give me some raps.
That's what's up. I hear you.
Like, anybody watching this shit and you an upcoming ghostwriter, DM me, fam.
Tell me some. What are the most famous songs you've ghostwritten on that we would know?
I ain't gonna get into all that.
Nah, come on, bro. Like, why you not gonna toot your own horn? What, you got a NDA that got no non-disclosure clauses, agreements? And we'll see now. And then if you got an NDA, why? You see what I'm saying? Why? If it's so honorable and it's just part of the business, why do we have NDAs?
Look. I give it to you straight face.
You just said you wrote for Puff.
Because I don't have an NDA with Puff.
And so
don't need an
and so
NDA
what
for
I'm
fuck.
saying is the
Fuck,
fact that the
fuck will tell you.
NDA,
I mean,
if
but
the
look,
fact that the
look.
NDA, the fact that the NDA even exists kind of proves my point, because they don't want you to know. They don't want it to be known that they're not doing what their job description
Yeah, but here's the thing,
hold
though,
up.
right?
What their
But
job description implicitly implies. See, if I said that I was a chef at a fucking restaurant, right?
right,
And they're billing me as the chef, and then you go back there and you find out some other nigga is really
and all you
cooking the
did was be
food.
right.
This nigga is never, he's just the face of the shit, which does happen,
But
though.
all right, so then
does
here's the
happen,
thing
though.
though. Here's the thing though, right? So then, great example. But let's say the chef is the chef, right? And the chef name is what draws people to the restaurant. So is the chef never supposed to have an understudy?
It's not that he's not supposed to have an I guess when he get mad restaurants and he can't
Right.
be
But that's
everywhere.
that's the business aspect of it. That's
Right,
what
I
I'm saying.
understand
so when
that.
It start coming, when it
I
start
understand
coming,
that.
that's what I'm saying
But
about the privatized aspect of it. Because when the business gets to a certain level, you're gonna make the business is gonna collapse if you don't continue to feed the frenzy. It's going to.
right, and the creativity is gonna collapse if you don't feed that. So
Right.
now,
So
now if
that's why I
Emerald
gave you the example.
Lagasse ain't, if he's not cooking at least one of his fucking restaurants, and he's just letting niggas cook for him and all his shits, he's gonna lose his fucking edge.
Agreed. So that's why you supervise. You don't just hand it all over. You supervise. A supervisor is somebody who basically has expertise in what they over what they conducted supervision. So at any given time, they can jump in it. You know what I'm saying? But like I said, when you get to a point in business where if you're gonna grow, you gotta stop being a mom and pop. Then you gotta stop being a mom and pop.
You're cutting your head off just a little bit. Just if you could just.
Yeah, if you gotta stop being a mom and pop at a certain point if you're gonna really get to this paper. You do. You know what I'm saying? Otherwise, like we always people are always quick to say hip hop is $1 billion business. That's not a figurative number.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
And this is the catch-22 of it. Like there's the money aspect where motherfuckers, it's $1 billion business, blah blah blah, and there's things you got to do in order to make money and keep a business flowing. And then there's the pure art form that we started that made business even possible in the first place.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
That we try our best to adhere to its roots. And
so
just to see and just to see them all dismantled and thrown away in the name of business, because we've lost so many things in the name of business. We've lost hip hop groups because motherfuckers couldn't do business together. So now you got a bunch of solo artists running around. Right. We've lost the art of sampling, popular fucking records and shit like that because motherfuckers are suing us over samples and shit. So now motherfuckers want to play all this electronic shit and say, fuck the samples, leave the samples alone. Right. Even though that's coming back in some areas. And this is all business that's pulling away from the essence of what we started. You know what I mean? And we got to be careful because when you keep diluting something, eventually it's not what you started with. You keep putting water in alcohol, eventually you're just going to have water.
Right. I agree. And I think that's where your job becomes tougher. And nobody said it was going to be easy. You know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, like we've seen, you and I can agree that we've seen hip hop in pretty much its lifespan, right? So I know that, certain groups, if you don't do business, how many guys do we know that opted not to do business and it didn't work out for them, and even in their personal travels? You know, it's I understand the being the flag bearer. You know what I'm saying? I'm a flag bearer, but we've also had to watch extreme compromises of hip hop with guys who weren't maybe I don't you know we've all we you and I both know the one hit wonder guys.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we could call them out, don't call them out. You got this one, that one. You
Many.
know what I mean? Who came in and used hip hop for 5 minutes and contributed nothing to it. And I'm more against that than saying, hey, these guys that are the guys and have contributed to the culture, and should be in the same space as a Rolling Stone or a Bon Jovi or this, that, and the third. And maybe, you know, it is a matter of bringing in structure more on the music business side. I don't have an issue with them having to eventually play the game. You know what I'm saying? They deserve it. They deserve it because if I can see, you know, I don't even want to say typical Vanilla Ice, just, you know what I mean? Like, it's been so many people who did a 1-2, and in their mind, they was keeping it real for themselves. You know what I'm saying? It might not have been a cultural move, but they caught that lick. You know what I'm saying? And the thing is, just like, so for those who have contributed to the culture and who have the right intentions towards it, I just think that, you know, is implementing songwriters a helpful way to stay concurrent? I do believe that. I do believe it. I you know what I'm saying? I've made money by doing it myself, and I've been a guy who still retains my own integrity when it comes to the Consequence brand of music. You know what I'm saying? But look, like I said, I do business. I'm more than, you got something that you think fit me? Send it over. You know what I'm saying? If it don't work, it don't work. If it do work and we want a Grammy off it, I ain't gonna feel like I ain't as nice as I ever was, because at the end of the day, I know I'm nice. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I think for most other artists, they still feel like they, you know, if they go on that route, they still feel like they nice. You know what I'm saying? And I think that's how we got to this whole top 5 with Kanye and it's not like Kanye nice. You know what I'm saying? Not like he ain't nice. You know what I'm saying? It'd be one thing if you ain't nice. That's more, like I said, more than one hit wonders that never were nice at all. But you seen them take home an asshole full of money. That's not fair to leaders of the new school. That's not fair to Poor Righteous Teachers. That's not fair to X-Clan. So why? So that's so unless they do it themselves, that's the only way. Nah, dog. I think, you know, and I understand the point you made about Slick Rick, where it's just like, yo, if it ain't Rick, but it's not fair to Rick though. Rick should be on top. The R should be on top. So if you don't implement none of that, you can't be on top no more. It don't work like that no more. You outnumbered. You know what I'm saying? You being out, your conveyor belt is not keeping up with these warehouses at this point of intellectual property.
I mean, we getting ready to wrap this in a second, but I mean, having a ghostwriter is not like an assurance to blowing up either. Like, let's just say we got a fucking gang of ghostwriters right now for Slick Rick. Dope shit. Put it out. It doesn't mean it's gonna resonate with the people. You know what I mean?
It don't.
Like,
there's a lot of
ageism out here right now. where they try to front on older rappers, and if you're not fucking, half of a fetus coming out the womb, you know, they don't want to hear you rap, you know, like you're 13 years old and you're over the hill in this fucking
but if
age that
like
we living in.
in the context of what we speaking in, most of these people do have viable fan bases. You know what I'm saying? Whether they smaller, a little more intimate, or they bigger. You know what I'm saying? All I'm saying is my point is just with this being a business that doesn't and shouldn't be a determining factor of whether the brand is still authentic or not based on what else is going on out here. If you took a little bit of it and implemented it, I don't think that puts an extreme cut on the bass. You know what I'm saying? Because the bass out here is the bass out here, fam. You know what I'm saying? So, and I think it should be something that is explored by older artists, because on the flip side of it, you can't, it's you go to the grant like Side the Prince said. I'll take a excerpt from what he said from one of his interviews. Like, you go to it's you and your engineer versus the 13 niggas that walk on stage to get the Grammy.
What's next for Consequence? What you
Things
got
are different now. My EP is soon to drop. Got a new video called Lost a Million dropping next week, as well as my son's project, Just Being a Kid. I started my own label. It's called 192 Records, and I'm very excited about the future, man. And I appreciate everybody who's been sending me well wishes in regard to my diagnosis of type 1 diabetes and lupus. And I'm always a DM away for any lupus warriors that want to that need to talk, want to send a message about their situation or inspired.
There's people on here earlier before you even came on. Somebody was in the chat and they was like, "I'm excited for this." They said, "I have lupus as well," so they were excited to see you come on and share your story, and we definitely thank you.
Yeah, we went 2 hours.
Yeah. So we gonna
great conversation, man. Great
absolutely, man. Listen, you're a friend to the Godcast. Come back anytime, man. We appreciate you. Sitting down with us, bro.
All right, salute, man. Have a great one.
Yes, sir, my brother.
Peace.
Peace.